The office is a cluttered war room, maps pinned to the walls, a flickering fluorescent light overhead, and a coffee pot hissing in the corner. Snow batters the windows, the storm outside a relentless roar. Jamie Davis, 40s, weathered, broad-shouldered, sits at his desk hunched over a stack of invoices. His eyes are tired but sharp, reflecting years of battling the Coquihalla Highway. A framed photo of a gleaming rotator truck, a massive, state-of-the-art tow rig, sits on the desk, taunting him. Jamie mutters to himself, 3 months late, should have been here by now. He rubs his temples, glancing at a spreadsheet showing red numbers. The phone rings, cutting through the silence like a siren. Jamie answers, Jamie Davis Heavy Rescue, what's the problem? The dispatcher responds, Jamie, it's a bad one. Jackknifed semi on the Coquihalla, mile marker 47, tight curve past the summit. Trailers blocking both lanes, drivers shaken but unhurt. Highway patrol's already screaming for a clear. Jamie stands, grabbing his jacket. Weather? The dispatcher replies, blizzard. Visibility's down to 20 feet, winds at 30 knots. Chains required, and even then, it's a gamble. Jamie responds, all right, we're rolling. Call Adam and Kevin, tell them to meet me at the yard. He hangs up, his breath visible in the chilly office. He grabs a thermos, pours black coffee, and takes one last look at the rotator photo. Jamie thinks to himself, the Coquihalla a beast, 6 lanes of ice, snow, and wrecks that can shut down Western Canada's trade route. My crew's the best, but we're running on fumes and old gear. I ordered a rotator last year, 50 tons of lifting power, a game changer. It's stuck in Tennessee, and tonight we're fighting with what we got. He strides out, the door slamming as snow swirls inside. The yard is a frozen junkyard of tow trucks, chains, and spare parts, lit by harsh floodlights. Snow piles against the rigs. Jamie's flagship tow truck, a battered but reliable Kenworth, sits ready, its engine idling. Adam Gazzola, 30s, stocky, quick-witted, and Kevin Ritchie, 30s, lean, intense, arrive in a pickup, their faces grim under hoods. Adam asks, dispatch said it's a jackknifed semi. You think it's one of those oversized loads again? Jamie replies, hope not. Last one took 12 hours to clear. Grab the heavy chains and spreader bars. We're not taking chances. Kevin checks the gear. This storm's worse than last week. My truck slid twice on the way here. Brandon Cadalis, 16, lanky, eager but green, Jamie's stepson, jogs up, pulling on a mismatched jacket. His boots are untied, and new ear piercings glint under his hood. Brandon says, I'm here, ready to roll. Jamie eyes him, noticing the piercings and his lack of proper gear. Jamie asks, those earrings new? You spent your first paycheck on that? Brandon grins. Gotta look sharp, right? Jamie shakes his head. Get in the truck, kid, and don't touch anything unless I tell you. Adam smirks, tossing a duffel of tools into the Kenworth. Rookie, you forget your traffic vest again? Brandon defensively replies, it's in my bag, somewhere. Kevin laughs. Somewhere ain't gonna cut it when a semi's barreling down on you. Jamie climbs into the driver's seat. Adam and Kevin take a second truck, and Brandon scrambles into the passenger side of Jamie's rig. The convoy rolls out, red and blue lights cutting through the blizzard. Jamie thinks to himself, Brandon's my stepson, 16 and full of attitude. Took him on to keep him out of trouble, maybe teach him a trade. But this highway doesn't care if you're family. It'll eat you alive if you're not ready. The scene is chaos. A massive semi lies jackknifed across a hairpin curve, its trailer twisted at a 90-degree angle, blocking both northbound lanes. The cab is tilted, front wheels dangling over a snowy embankment. Snow falls in thick curtains, wind screaming at 40 miles an hour. Headlights from a mile-long backup of trucks and cars stab through the storm, horns blaring. The semi's driver, Terry, 40s, burly, shaken, stands nearby, wrapped in a blanket. Terry tells Jamie, hit black ice coming out of the curve. Tried to brake, but she just slid, nearly went over the edge. Jamie nods. You're lucky you didn't. Stay back with the patrol car. We'll handle it. Jamie's flashlight beam sweeps the wreck. The trailer's undercarriage is a mess. Axles bent, tires shredded, cargo, pallets of canned goods spilling into the snow. The guardrail is crumpled where the trailer slammed into it. Adam whistles, this ain't no quick tow. Trailer's pinned against the rail, and that embankment's a 200-foot drop. Kevin looks at the backup, and we got a whole lot of pissed-off truckers waiting. Highway patrol's gonna be on our ass in 10 minutes. Jamie says, we need the rotator. That boom could lift the trailer clean off the rail, reset the whole rig in an hour. Adam replies, yeah, well, we got the Kenworth and some elbow grease. Let's make it work. They spring into action, unloading chains, spreader bars, and a hydraulic jack. Jamie directs, his voice cutting through the wind, Adam, hook the front axle. Kevin, get the spreader bars under the trailer's rear. Brandon, grab the reflective cones and set a perimeter. Brandon fumbles with a stack of cones, dropping one in the snow. Sorry, I got it. Kevin says to Adam, low, kid's gonna get us killed one day. Adam replies, give him a break, he's learning. The crew works fast, their breath steaming in the 20-degree air. Jamie climbs under the cab, inspecting the frame for damage. Snow cakes his jacket, freezing his gloves stiff. Jamie thinks to himself, a jackknifed semi is like a puzzle. One wrong move and the whole thing collapses. The trailer's weight is pushing the cab toward the embankment. We gotta stabilize it, then pull it back. Without the rotator, it's gonna be a long night. Adam secures heavy-duty chains to the semi's front axle, looping them through the Kenworth's winch. Kevin wedges spreader bars under the trailer, cursing as snow slides into his boots. These bars are slipping. Ground's too icy. Jamie instructs, use the jack to brace them. We can't let that trailer shift. Brandon finishes setting cones, his hands red from the cold. A trucker, 50s, impatient, approaches, ignoring the perimeter. Hey, how long's this gonna take? I got a delivery in Vancouver by dawn. Brandon nervously replies, we're working as fast as we can, sir. The trucker insists, fast ain't good enough. Get that rig out of my way. Jamie overhears, climbing out from under the cab. He strides over, authoritative. Back behind the cones. You want this road open? Let us do our job. The trucker grumbles but retreats. Jamie turns to Brandon. Next time, don't let him push you around. You're part of this crew. Act like it. Brandon nods, chastened. Jamie's radio crackles, the sound distorted by static. The dispatcher says, Jamie, we got another problem. Second semi spun out at mile marker 52, southbound lane. Black ice again. Trailers blocking traffic and the driver's freaking out. Jamie responds, you're kidding me. We're barely holding it together here. The dispatcher insists, Highway Patrol says it's priority. You gotta split your crew. Jamie looks at the jackknifed semi, then at his team, snow piling on their shoulders. He makes a snap decision. All right, Adam, Kevin, you two stay on this wreck. Keep the winch steady and reinforce the trailer's rear. I'll take Brandon and handle the spin out at 52. Adam asks, skeptical, Brandon, you sure he's ready? Jamie replies, he's with me. He'll be fine. Brandon excitedly says, I'm ready, Jamie. Let's do this. Jamie grabs a toolbox, motioning Brandon to follow. They climb into a second tow truck, a smaller Peterbilt rig, and roar off into the storm, leaving Adam and Kevin to battle the jackknifed semi. The cab is a cocoon of heat and noise, the heater blasting against the freezing windshield. Snow swirls in the headlights, wipers struggling to keep up. Jamie grips the wheel, eyes scanning for ice patches. Brandon fidgets, trying to look confident. So, how bad's this spin-out gonna be? Jamie replies, bad enough. Black ice is a killer, turns the road into a skating rink. If the trailer's off the embankment, we're in for a fight. Brandon says, but we got this, right? You've done like 1 million wrecks. Jamie responds sharply, doesn't matter how many I've done. Every wreck's different, and everyone can go wrong. You gotta respect the highway, Brandon. Brandon quiets, staring out the window. The radio crackles with Adam's voice. Jamie, we're hooked up to the jackknifed rig. Winch is holding, but the trailer's fighting us. Guardrails bending, might not last. Jamie replies into the radio. Reinforce it with the secondary chains. Don't pull until I'm back. We can't risk that rig going over. Jamie accelerates, the truck's tires crunching on fresh snow. Jamie thinks to himself, running a heavy rescue outfit ain't just about towing wrecks. It's about keeping the crew tight, the gear ready, and the bank from calling in your loans. That rotator was supposed to be our edge, but every day it's delayed, I'm bleeding cash. Tonight, it's all on us. The scene shifts to mile marker 52. The second semi is a grim sight. Its trailer skewed across the southbound lane, rear wheels teetering on a snowy embankment above a 150-foot drop. The cab is upright, but ice coats the road, glinting under the truck's hazard lights. The driver, Mike, 50s, grizzled, chain-smoking, paces near a patrol car, cursing. Mike tells Jamie, took you long enough. Hit that ice, and the trailer just swung out. Nearly dragged the whole rig down the cliff. Jamie replies, "We'll get it out. Stay with the officer and keep clear." Jamie and Brandon step out, boots slipping on the ice. Jamie's flashlight sweeps the semi, revealing a cracked rear axle and a trailer leaning dangerously. Jamie instructs Brandon, "Black ice did this. Invisible, deadly. We gotta stabilize the trailer before we pull, or it's going over." Brandon nervously asks, "Stabilize how?" Jamie replies, "Counterweights and chains. Grab the 50-ton chains from the truck and the hydraulic stabilizer kit. Move." Brandon hustles, dragging heavy chains through the snow. He trips, dropping a coil, and scrambles to recover it. Jamie yells, "Careful! Those chains are worth more than your earrings." Brandon flushes, hauling the gear over. Jamie kneels by the trailer, inspecting the undercarriage. The wind howls, visibility dropping to 10 feet. Jamie thinks to himself, "This wreck's a nightmare." The trailer's rear is hanging over the edge, and the ice is making every step a gamble. Brandon's eager, but he's green. I gotta keep him focused, or we're both in trouble. Jamie directs Brandon to hook chains to the trailer's frame, showing him how to loop them through anchor points. Jamie instructs, like this: tight, no slack. If the chain slips, the trailer's gone. Brandon confidently replies, "Got it. I can do this." They work in tandem, Jamie setting up a hydraulic stabilizer under the trailer's rear to counter its weight. Brandon follows orders, his hands shaking from cold and adrenaline. A patrol officer, 40 stern, approaches. "Jamie, we got traffic backed up to the toll booth. How long's this gonna take?" Jamie wipes snow from his face. "Soon as we stabilize, we'll pull. 30 minutes, maybe less, if the ice doesn't screw us." The officer nods, retreating. Jamie climbs into the tow truck, starting the winch. The cable tightens, the trailer creaking as it shifts slightly. Brandon yells, "It's moving. We're good." Suddenly, the trailer lurches, sliding an inch toward the drop. The stabilizer groans, metal straining. Jamie yells, "Hold the chain, tighten the slack." Brandon freezes for a split second, eyes wide, then lunges for the chain, pulling it taut. Jamie adjusts the winch, easing the tension. The trailer stabilizes, its wheels inching back onto the road. Jamie asks Brandon, "What the hell was that? You freeze up like that again? We lose the rig and maybe you." Brandon pants, "I'm sorry, Jamie. It happened so fast." Jamie softens. "All right, you fixed it. Just stay sharp." They resume, Jamie guiding the winch with precision. After tense minutes, the trailer is fully on the road, the cab realigned. Mike claps, relieved. "Hell of a job. Thought I was going to lose my whole load." Jamie tells Mike, "Get to a rest stop, check your tires, and drive slow. This ice ain't done." Jamie claps Brandon's shoulder, a rare gesture. "You pulled through, kid. Not bad for your first spin out." Brandon grins. "Told you I could do it." Jamie's radio crackles. "Adam, we're in deep here. The Jackknifed rig's trailer is slipping. Guardrail's about to give and the winch is overheating." Jamie responds, "We're done at 52. Hang tight, I'm coming back." Jamie and Brandon climb into the truck, roaring back toward mile marker 47. The jackknifed semi is a war zone. Adam and Kevin are soaked, their jackets caked with snow. The trailer's weight has bent the guardrail further, its rear tires now inches from the embankment's edge. The Kenworth's winch is smoking, cables stretched to their limit. The traffic backup is now 2 miles, headlights a glowing snake in the storm. Kevin yells to Adam, "Winch is going to blow if we keep this up. We need more pull." Adam checks the cables. Guardrail's toast. If it goes, the trailer's taking the cab with it. The semi's cargo, cans of soup, litters the snow, some crushed under the trailer's weight. A highway patrol sergeant, 50s, no nonsense, approaches. "Gazzola, what's the holdup? This highway's a lifeline, and you're clogging it."